And DD India correspondent Jessica Taneja joins us from the newsroom with more. Jessica, take us through the key priorities for the two leaders as India-Russia annual summit, the 23rd edition, takes place today. Also, given the geopolitical context, the priorities would be significantly evolved.
Well, yes, apart from the energy trade that both countries have, they're also looking into diversifying economic ties, looking at various other sectors of cooperation which go beyond the traditional sectors of defense and nuclear. And perhaps these are the areas they would look to sort of come together and have a roadmap ahead, which the two countries, if you'd recall, when Prime Minister Modi had visited Moscow for the 22nd annual summit in July last year, the two had signed 9 MOUs and had come out with a joint agreement which said that they want to take the bilateral trade to $100 billion by the year 2030, and they want to complete that target. It's an ambitious target, but the movement in that direction is there. If you speak to analysts as well as the government officials, the ambassador, Indian ambassador to Russia, Vinay Kumar, he had briefed the media and told about the current progress that India and Russia have made on their economic ties because of the large trade deficit that India has with Russia. Out of the total $68.7 billion trade in the last financial year, almost $65 billion was energy trade, and India's exports were roughly $4.9 billion. So that needs to go up. And what are the sectors that both countries would look to opening to each other? For example, the agro trade seems to be going in a direction where it could see more momentum. Last year, the Russian market was selling Indian pomegranate and potatoes. So that is a start, so to say. But yes, the two countries are exploring more sectors where they can have more collaboration. For example, apart from the energy trade, Russia also exports fertilizers to India, about 3.5 metric tons of it in the last few years, and that is a significant chunk. So certainly the dependence on trade between each other is beyond defense and nuclear cooperation, and the two have recognized that almost. And it is almost a quarter of a century ago, back in the year 2000, when Russian President Vladimir Putin had come to India and met Prime Minister Vajpayee back then. A lot has changed, though some similarities in the global economic and security situation and in the neighborhood, but the ties between the two, a steady relationship in modern times, is what the Indian government believes it is.
Yes, Jessica. Gautam here. We've seen how it has been an area of concern for both the Europeans and the Americans, the kind of boost India and Russia ties have got ever since the Ukraine conflict began, where energy is concerned, oil and gas, both, and it's been specifically targeted by the US with that punitive tariff of 25% extra that has been imposed on India. Now, how would these two leaders be looking at this issue itself? Because it is important for India to be getting oil at the rates that Russia has been giving it to, discounted rates. And at the same time, there is that concern on tariffs as well, which have had an impact already if you look at our exports to the US in October.
Well, yes, there has been an impact on the additional tariffs that the US government put on India, 25% additional because of Russian energy imports. And this is likely to come up in the discussions today, although we don't know the exact details or to what extent will this be discussed. But yes, given that India's energy trade with Russia, it is significant and it will be discussed. And India will continue to explore various markets for importing oil and its energy needs, because India imports more than 80% of its energy needs, and it looks at various markets and is constantly diversifying, given the kind of sanctions that are at play, and the world order seems to be changing a little or conveniently moving to a transactionalist approach. And given that context, the two leaders would definitely have more discussions on this, and the negotiators who will be accompanying the leaders will be mulling over facts and details of how to navigate this complicated situation that both countries find themselves in. And so far, what we've seen is with the United States and its sanctions, a lot of trade has been affected, and the tariffs certainly would continue till the time we don't have a trade deal with the United States, which is also in the offing as we gathered, but no confirmation to that effect. Discussions are ongoing. So given all of the current geoeconomic environment and the complications of the world's trade relations,
Right, Jessica.
it will be important how both countries come to a particular conclusion as to how to navigate all of this.
Jessica, stay with us.